Here we have a Tacoma Park police officer sitting at a stop sign. What is he sitting here for? Blocking the sidewalk. You blocking the sidewalk, sir. Thank you, I appreciate that. And they're out. Look at that. What they're doing is trying to catch people from that running that light, but you can't catch them with your cherries and berries on. This is car 308, and what he's doing is catching them coming over the hill right there at that green and light, and then he tickets them, chases them down the street here and gets them. Let's just watch him for a little while. But he got his cherries and berries on, and if anybody was to see him, they, but they speed up over that hill so fast they don't even see him. This is the officer that took me down to 7 Locks when they arrested me for the illegal eviction. He seemed to be a good officer, but this is what happens when your whole department is run by a terrorist. No one is safe. You have to videotape everybody. He could have stood up and said, look, do we have paperwork that he's being evicted, or a judge's order that he was evicted? No, but if we take away immunity from these people, even the chief of police, this officer here, even if he's a good officer, can say, Chief, can I see the paperwork that a judge says we're evicting him? And if he doesn't give him paperwork, then he said, I'm not going to evict him. And the chief couldn't do nothing. He couldn't fire him. If he did, then he had a right to sue the chief. But we got to take this immunity away from him so we can have better cops out here on the street who stand up for what is right. These guys, all they want is a job. That's not what this uniform is for. And the ones long ago, when I was growing up, it wasn't that for a job. It's because they really love policing. Now it's just a job. Take care of your family. But if we take this immunity away from them, these good officers can stand up against those bad officers. Because there's accountability then. You can sue even the chief if he tells you to go do a bad act, which took place on April the 28th, 2022. Well, we're here now in Tacoma Park off of New Hampshire Avenue and Kingswood Drive, staking out cars coming over the hill. This is what some of the citizens were talking about. This stretch of New Hampshire Avenue, cops be pulling people over. All right, let's see if we can get one. Anybody coming over the hill? They stopped that time. Now, what I don't like is he got his berries and cherries on. If you want to catch somebody, cut them off. That's how real police back in the day did. They didn't put the berries and cherries on only when they begin to chase somebody. They want to catch criminals. The guys today, they don't want that smoke. You know, I'm going to show you a video. I call him Thin as the Wind police officer in Prince George's County. He didn't have his body camera on. And then he wants to get smart with me when I asked him his name and badge number. Come on, you're not even built for this. You can look at him. He's in there looking at baby stuff through the window. You'll see the video, but he's not even built for this. Without that gun, I'm serious. Half of these dudes would not be law enforcement. Because they're not built for this. For the real criminal. Now you got dope heads, addicts, drunks. That's who they fuck with. They're not gonna go down to mess with these real dudes who, just like the PG County female, he pulled away from me and she just let him walk. Mugs don't mind putting in that work. They're not gonna mess with them. All right, somebody run this light so I can show the citizens what's really going on up here. But citizens are complaining about this stretch of the road. It goes all the way down, I think, to Sligo Mill or Piney Branch, that law enforcement, Tacoma Park, is pulling citizens over at a high rate. And this is why, because they're running this light. I'm not saying they're wrong doing it. If you break the law, then you're supposed to get pulled over. You're supposed to get locked up. My thing is, put it across the board. Don't just pick and choose who you're going to arrest or what ethnic groups you're going to fuck with. Do it with everybody. Gone. There he go. There he go. There he go. I really think he just wanted to leave the area, because Slim didn't run the red light. It was green. So I think he just wanted to leave the area. But let me explain this to you. I never met him before. I don't think I have, that he ever did anything negative towards me. This is because there is immunity in the police department. You see, this guy here, he seemed to be an honest cop. Seemed to be, and he wants to do his job. But he has to follow terrorists who wears the brass in the Tacoma Park department. If you take immunity away from these law enforcement officers, then they would have a say on what they will do and what they will not do if it comes to breaking the law. Now, if they don't do their job, then they're supposed to get terminated. But when it comes to doing something illegal, like what took place on April the 28th, they're all held accountable for it. And then, therefore, if immunity is taken off the table, these guys will stand up and say, no, if there's no court order, and this is what I mean, they should know this as law enforcement officers. If there's no court order, we can't evict anybody. And from my understanding, from talking to the sheriff department, the only person who can evict someone is the sheriff department. And that has to be done through a court order of a judge. Okay? So, when June the 10th come, when we go to trial, I'm gonna bring my camera along, and we're gonna see. I'm not gonna be able to videotape in the courtroom, But I'm going to tell you what's happening when I come out. Or if I come out. I'll do 90 days. I'll take that hit. And then I'll sue. And then I'll take the judge's job away from her because she doesn't know or he doesn't know the law. But the thing is this. If we take immunity away from law enforcement, we'll find good officers, because now you have to stand on your own feet. You have to say, I'm not going to do that. That's not what the law states. You know, and they can stand there, and if there's repercussions, they're able to sue the person, which could be the lieutenant captain or whoever told them to do it. You can sue them. And this is why we need to take that immunity away from them and hold them accountable, even government officials. People have to be held accountable, just like they want us to be accountable for our actions. And I agree. If I commit a crime, lock me up if you can catch me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I did something wrong. My parents taught, if I do something wrong, be man enough to stand up there and take the consequences. But if I didn't do nothing wrong, then I'm going to stand up there and I'm going to fight. And that's what needs to happen with these individuals. As law enforcement officers, government officials, we take immunity away from them. Even judges. Take that immunity away from them. Prosecutors. When you know that no crime has been committed, but you still go forward, just like this case that I'm on right now. A real, honest state attorney would have asked this simple question. Was he served eviction papers? Then how can you lock him up for trespassing? Trespassing has to be unwanted. I mean, the statute for that is you have to have a legal reason to be on the property. I have a legal reason. I have a contract. Okay? No matter what these gentlemen say, just like I asked him, if I didn't have an agreement, a contract, how did I get keys to the building? How did I have keys to the gates? How was I there every day seeing these same people who claim I didn't have jurisdiction or permission to be there, but I'm there every day? He got somebody. God damn, he waited way down there to catch him. I ain't about to run down there. By the time I get there, to be over with. I think he let him run a little while just to get him down the street a ways. But what I'm saying is this. If we want good polices, we have to take that immunity away from them. And let these officers stand on their education, stand on their professionalism of the law and knowledge of the law. If the chief tells me to go over there and lock this man up, and I know for a fact I'm going to question the chief. Excuse me. What's the charge we're going to charge him with, chief? Walking on the sidewalk. Nah, I'm not locking him up, chief. That's not going to happen. Not with me, it ain't. I got a family to take care of. And that's what I'm saying. And if the chief retaliates against me, I have a right to sue the chief. And that's why we have to take this immunity away from him. Look at this clown here. Come on, come on, come on. No, I'm black. God damn, I know you see me with the lights on. But this is what I'm saying about taking that immunity away from it. Now, mind you, this is it, Sligo Creek. From Sligo Creek all the way back up there to Kingswood. This is that little stretch that people are complaining about. Tacoma Park pulling people over. They say all night, this is what they do up and down. And I didn't see him run that light. That light was green. So I don't know who he got. You know, I don't know what the charge is on this, but I know for a fact that light was green when he punched that engine and went after this car here. And I don't know, like I say, he could be a good officer. He could see somebody, and I'm not the police, so I don't know what he pulled him over with. He could have been up on the people bumper, or I don't know. But I know that light was green. But we take immunity away from the judges, the prosecutors. They would do their job the right way because they would be held accountable. You know, back in a couple years back in the 70s, I think it was, young lady, a judge let a guy out and he went and threw gas on her and lit her. And then from that point forward, everybody that had a domestic charge, whether they did it or not, stayed in jail. Stayed in jail. And that's not how the system works. Because you let one person get out, everybody, the Constitution says, has the right to a bond. They don't give that to everybody. But every citizen under the Constitution has a right to a reasonable bond or bail. Yeah, he let him run this way. I know he ain't get him for no light, because he ain't got no but one brake light. Because he gunned that car to get it, whatever he was. God dang. And then he let him run. Now he going back up there on that hill. He going back here. This will be a busy road right here tonight. I guarantee you. Oh no, he going on up. I'm probably going to get him a coffee now. But citizens, if we want honest police officers and professional police officers, we need to take that immunity away from them. If we want honest prosecutors and judges and government officials, we have to take that immunity away from them and start holding them accountable for their actions. Because you should know your job. I'm pretty sure when you go to work at night, yeah, there you go right there. He going back now. He going back up that hill. Yeah. I'm pretty sure on your job you don't have no immunity. You come back from lunch late, I got immunity. I mean, I'm just coming back. I mean, so what? You ain't gonna do nothing. You see what I'm saying? So why do they have immunity in their job that they're receiving a welfare check for? Judges supposed to explain the law, not make law from the bench. And that's what they do. And if they do that, we gotta hold them accountable. Their job is to explain the law, not make the law. Same thing with prosecutors. Their job is to make sure that the person being accused of a crime committed a crime. This ain't about handshaking. This ain't about having coffee with somebody. This is about following the law. And just like in my case, I'm being charged with trespassing. I never was evicted. I was never told I can't be on the property. I had keys to the property. I had an agreement and a contract. For the last 3 years I've been there. And everybody knew that. And then all of a sudden, in one day, I'm trespassed and locked up. Now, when this came across the state attorney's desk of Montgomery County, the first question they should have asked, has he been properly served with an eviction? And I would like to see the paperwork showing he was properly served eviction paperwork. State attorney, we don't have that. Then this case is going to be dismissed. That's why. And if she pursue it like they're doing, then we have to hold her accountable, because now she's milking the clock, or he's milking the clock, the state attorney. Because I requested a jury trial. And I love going to court. A layman's gonna beat them at their own game. And this is why I say you have to educate yourself on the law. And I mean really educate yourself. Don't trust these lawyers, because they're wards of the court. And the word ward means their first obligation is to the court. It isn't to the client, it's to the court. You know, some years back, I was charged with ordering hits on 18 judges in Montgomery County and their families, and then Governor Martin O'Malley and his family, then County Executive, I think his name was Ike Leggett, and his family. These clowns fabricated evidence. They even went to the point of bringing 2 black clowns out of Prince George's County, a judge and assistant state attorney. And they both said that they are Montgomery County people. And they gave me a public defender who I was trying to tell, one, I never wrote anybody. 2, how can I write 2 different, mind you, they say I threatened all these people, and then I sent them a letter saying I threatened them. But the letter had this emblem on one and the other didn't. And then they say I sent it through the mail. Now, and they had a friend of mine who they tried to bring into it, who worked at the post office, saying they scared her so bad that, and which I understood why. You know, if you ain't built for this, you gonna do what you got to do to survive. And I wasn't mad at her. But they scared her so bad to go along with the program. But when I got into court, the lawyer didn't listen to nothing I was telling him. They say they found a fingerprint. Out of all these people, they found one fingerprint. And it was mine. But what they didn't know is, I was informed that they went to 7 locks and retrieved the fingerprint from 7 locks. And that several months before they put in the paperwork to have it, the CSI shit, they had already sent it up. So they sent it up before they even did that, because they had it. This is the corruption I'm telling you about in this judicial system we have. But if we take immunity away from these individuals, and let me tell you, the funny thing about that is, I filed an appeal, I filed a writ of certainty, and it all went up to Annapolis, to a young lady, to another tyrant named Barbara. She was the chief judge in Annapolis of the appeals court. She sent all my shit back to one of my victims in Montgomery County Circuit Court, DeBillius. He was one of the victims in my case that I threatened, and everything went through him in my case. So she refused to overturn the conviction. And you know where she's at right now? She's in Montgomery County Circuit Court with her husband. They both sit on the circuit court right in there. You know, DeBillius, he moved way out in Decatur somewhere. And then I had another judge told me he had to go buy a gun or was thinking about buying a gun because I was a dangerous person. Come on, man. You threatening me and you a judge? But see, this is what the shit goes on in these judicial system because they have immunity. They cover each other's back. Come on. This clown says he had a gun and he was scared of me. Get the fuck out of here. I ain't never met this man. Don't know where he lived at. Only time I seen him was in the courtroom when a custody hearing was. I turned my back on him. And he gonna tell me he's scared of me because I'm not gonna kiss his ass. Get the fuck out of here. And then they sent me to a place for 5 years. And you know something? That 5 years, I educated myself on the Constitution and the law. I've been to every prison in the state of Maryland. Because once they found out that and read the paperwork, they knew I was in there illegally. Come on, you gonna threaten the governor of the state and 18 judges, and you gonna sit up in a state prison? And then you give all my paperwork back to a victim. Come on. That's just like what I was telling the lady. Talking about Tacoma Park. You telling a rapist to go back, a person that was raped, to go back to the rapist for justice. See what I'm saying? This is why immunity must go. And start holding these people accountable for their actions. You know, I could have went back to my old ways and just went down there and got my shit. But that's what they want you to do. That's what they want you to do. Then they have a real reason to go after you. But I'm going to do it their way. I'm going to use their own laws against them and get paid. And that's what America, you need to start doing too. Educate yourself and use the law against them. You know, I tell my people, black people, the Constitution was not written for black people. We didn't have no say or hand in that. Not one of those signatures on the Constitution is a black person. But, listen to what I'm going to tell you. Educate yourself to use their own laws against them. And that includes white people too. Use their laws against them. Use the supreme law against them. And if you don't know it that well, find somebody that will. Go to the libraries and pick up a constitutional book. Read it backwards and forth. It took me 5 years. And I know the Constitution backwards, from the front to the back. You know, and I didn't do it to come out here and use it like this. But I did it to know what my rights are as a free person in this country. And it wasn't even written for black people. Or low-income people. It was written for the rich to delegate what they can and can't do. But if we educate ourselves on it, then you're at top of the game, because no state law can override what is written in the Constitution of the United States, the supreme law. It even says if there's a conflict between a state law And the Constitution wins out every time, hands down. And that's why this lawsuit and the First Amendment, you see, these towns love to keep it on a hush-hush when they lose something. Not this time. First Amendment give me a right, freedom of speech. And I'm going to let everybody know how much they paid, how they bowed down, and how they lost. Now, if Tacoma Park wishes to settle out of court, I'm going to tell you right now how they're going to do it. You're going to fire every one of those brass that's sitting up in the police department. You're going to get rid of them. From the chief, the lieutenant, the captain, the major, every last one of them, you're going to fire them. And you're going to bring in somebody who is worthy enough to run the police department. You're not going to bring somebody up from the rank and file. Because they're now, well, let me change that. You can bring my man Tate up. You know, he ain't no bad officer. I mean, because we don't have out there, I respect him. Make him the chief. And build, if you're going to go from the inside, build with him. A couple of the officers from Blainsburg work over here. They're good officers. But if you can't do that, you're going to bring somebody from the outside and make them chief. And the dispatching supervisor, make her the mayor of Tacoma Park. She's professional. I've liked her ever since the first day I met her. She's real helpful, and she does her job. But we're gonna see, because when this trial is over at June 10th and they dismiss this, shit is on then. You heard? Everything gonna be Gucci then. I've already got stuff written up. I've gotten all my witnesses, my evidence for my civil lawsuit. And it's a doozy. And I'm not going to negotiate. I'm telling you now what you can